Hola, animigos, and welcome to Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding live stream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. I'm your host, Stephen Shaw.
And I'm your host, David Khourshid.
Together we are coding compadres, animation amigos, Boolean buddies, and keyframe companions.
Yeah, so we're going to be continuing with the 7GY series from scratch live today using HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript with XState. As always, we're happy to answer any questions you may have, so please reach out in the chat or the comments.
Oh, CRUD, David. Oh, CRUD.
Yes.
Today's challenge is CRUD. What does CRUD stand for, David?
CRUD, man, that takes me back. It stands for Create, Read, Update, Delete, which describes 90% of web applications today, including the ones that you're making right now. You think you're special. You are not. CRUD is basically the foundation of most of what we do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it encompasses a lot of different problems because you got data storage, you got managing those entries, you've got kind of responding in the UI. There's just so many different little things that you have to take into account when you're truly implementing a CRUD application.
Right.
So
yeah, lots of little challenges to this one. The biggest of which is we're not using React, but we'll see how far we could get without React. Yeah, the only well, we're going to be having to do some manual things without React, but I think it's not going to be that bad. I mean, both Shaw and I are well seasoned in the art of jQuery, where we had to do this a lot. So,
yes.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. The DOM isn't that scary anymore. It's a little more, a little tamer. So yeah, we do have a little bit of setup happening here. I've mostly just gotten the UI kind of plugged in. I don't think you've done any state stuff yet. Yeah.
No, not at all.
So yeah, a bunch of different inputs. Basically, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot we're gonna have to hook up. But
yeah,
while I start typing in some of these IDs, why don't you?
Sure. Let me explain the challenge a bit. So this is a CRUD form, and it has a few features. Of course, we have create, update, delete, and the R part of CRUD is reading, which obviously is this UI. You should be able to read both the user's name and surname. And we have a couple examples by Shaw here. Jim, Bob, and Billie Jean. I'm assuming this is some bluegrass band or something like that.
Seems that way.
Naming the members of. Anyway, so we are able to create a user, give them a name and a surname, but we're not able to create them unless they have both a name and a surname. So we have to do a little bit of validation there. And we're also able to filter them. So if we type in the filter like Jim, we should only see Jim, or if someone has a last name of Jim, then we should be able to see them too. We could also delete a user, and that works just as you expect. We would select the user, and then we would just go ahead and delete them. And also, we could update a user. So if we click any of the users, then their name and surname should end up in the name and surname field. And so we should be able to just, change it, press update, and yeah, that's their updated name. Or we could delete them, whatever we feel like doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of little things going on here, but let's see what we could do. Shaw has set up all of the elements for us, which is really good. That's half the battle right there. So yeah, I'm going to be talking through, I guess, my process of just how I would figure this out, and I always start with like the data or the context, like well, what's going to go in here? So obviously we have a list of users, right?
Yeah.
And we need something to represent, I guess, the name. Just make that an empty string, right?
The currently selected name and surname, yeah.
Yeah. So we could say selected user. And so this is just going to be, I guess, we could have it null for now, or we could have it be a an index, since we're doing this, just as a simple array. And oh yeah, also the filter. So filter, and right now the filter is nothing. Okay, so yeah, just like we talked about in the previous videos, don't worry about the finite states yet. Just worry about what can you do. And so that's going to be on or on. So again, coming from Redux or something, this should feel familiar. You should be thinking about what are the actions the user could do. In XState, we translate this to what are the events that can be sent in here. And so let's see, obviously we could select a user. We could create a user, change the filter. We could also delete a user. So let's see, I'm trying to think of what would be the best thing to start with. Let's start with adding a user. So let's see, we have name, surname, and those are represented over here. So let's say on name.change, I'm just going to name it like this. I'm going to say, this is pretty simple. So we're going to assign, and I think we have assign imported, right? Yes, we do. All right, so we're going to say name e.value, right? I think that's simple enough.
All right, so lname.add event listener change. We're going to fire, what is it, trigger? It's CRUD service dot trigger.
So, send.
CRUD service dot send name dot change, and then just e. The event.
Well, so yeah, that will be, will that work? Is there an e.value, or do we have to do like e.target.value?
Yeah, it'll need to be e.target.value.
Yeah, so I'm going to just make this an object name change. And actually, yeah, let's just, target.value. Since over here, we want to not care that it's a
DOM element.
Yeah, so context context goes first. So context e, and then e.value. Oh yeah, we should console.log. So let's console.log state.context just to make sure that things are working.
Yeah.
And
all right, so nothing. Add event listener change. Maybe it's input.
Might be input.
Nope, I'm not getting anything. CRUD service. And
let's see. You know what? There might be. Yeah, let's comment this out right now, just because we give it some dummy values. Okay, so there we go. We have our name, we have our surname. Yeah, it was just confused about this. It's like, I don't know where that initial state is.
I gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so surname change you've got hooked up to. That's great.
Yeah, and so now let's do our first CRUD thing.
Nice.
So we are going to create. And so that, we are just assigning the users. So we have context, and obviously we're just going based on what we already put for the name and surname. So we have to do the, I keep saying the Reduxy thing, but you have to return useSpread, context.users, or actually you could concat. I think concating is easier. Right?
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to go ahead and create a new array, just to be sure that number one, an array exists, and then, okay, is that how we're going to store them? Okay.
Yeah, so we're just going to store them as objects, and so we're going to read, and so the reason for that is when we select a username, we could just read from the name and surname and put them in the inputs.
Okay, so if we add Jim, Bob, click, we need to hook up create, so let's go. We'll go create, add event listener, click. CRUD service send, it's just all caps create with no value. All right, and then we can say Jim, Bob, create, and we now have our users with an object.
Oh yeah, we have to make sure that we actually do have a context name and a context surname. So I added those over there. So yeah, that seems to work. It's just now we have to hook that up to our our select. So have fun with that.
Yeah.
I think you could actually do the React thing and basically recreate the select options from scratch.
Right. That's what I'm planning to do.
Basically making a mini React.
Yeah. So L entries. Dot inner HTML equals and then L entry. So state dot context dot users dot for each user. L entries dot append child. Option and dot create element. So we're going to create the option, and we're going to set the option inner text to user dot name. User dot surname.
Yeah, needless to say, this would be a lot easier if we used React, but not the biggest deal.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and create a default entry, because that should. So Billy, surname, Gene. Okay. Yep. That's already working a little bit. Billy and Gene. Great. Filter is not defined. Okay, you're already adding some of the other stuff. Okay, state context users for each. We can say also option dot set attribute value to the index, so that we can handle selecting in a minute. Okay, so Billy Jean. So let's create Jim Bob again. Create. Okay, we got Jim Bob. Great. All right, so now we're updating our entries. That's helpful. Now it is doing this absolutely every time that the context is updated. Are there any ways to kind of scope those changes with XState here?
There sure is. So yeah, let's talk about when this actually updates. And obviously React could, optimize that for you. It sort of does that automatically. But the only time we're really updating this list is when we're creating. Actually, when we create, update, and delete users. So what I'm actually going to do is here. I'm just going to take this L entries is. That's for users, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm going to take that and in create, I'm going to make this an array so that we could do some more actions. So I'm going to also take the context from here, and I'm just going to paste that in there. And so what we're going to do here is we are going to put this directly in an action, and this action is only going to run when this transition happens. So I think that this will work.
Update.
Yeah, it works. But obviously we want it to happen, lots of times. So I'm just going to say,
I've moved that up to a function. Update users.
Oh, where is it?
It's just a literal function. So just update users should call that. Go up here. Update entries. Whatever. The entries. All right, so if we go Jim and Bob, go create, nothing happens.
So yeah, it's supposed to be doing that. Where's update entries? Let me see.
It's at the top.
So let's just console.
Oh, CTX.
Where's TypeScript when we need it?
Nobody needs it.
That's true. I'm guessing you don't use it at CodePen.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so that works. How do we fire that on the initial create? The initial state machine setup.
So remember, we have entry, exit, and transition actions, and so far we've been working with transition actions. So you could consider this big machine a state, and so yeah, you could just put in entry. So we could say entry, update users, and that should work.
Update user, update entries. Sorry, I'll fix that because that's going to continue to cause confusion. Users, users, and users. Go update users there and update
functions.
Here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Not bad, not bad. L entries is not defined. What did I? Oh, it's still referenced right here. Users. Users. Okay. All right, that should get it. Delete is not defined. There we go. Okay, yep, that worked on entry. And still add Jim Bob. Oh. In theory. All right, you're going to town on the
yeah, just adding the delete. So basically, this is just when we delete a user, we want to the user is selected, and so we need to add finite states for that later, but we don't have to do that right now. But we're just going to filter out all of the users and just make sure that it's not the selected user. So just context.selected user. And yeah, but we don't have that, selection thing just yet.
Yeah. So what we would do for that, so we've got our kind of event listeners down here. So we'll say filter L users, add event listener. I think it's changed, but I don't remember for sure. So select is the event there. And what's your event for filter? It's just filter. Filter. Okay. So L users, add event listener input. So that's going to determine or that's going to fire whenever something is selected, or it should.
I also just added a thing where when we enter a user and we press create, it clears out the name and surname fields. So yes. Yeah, that was just a simple. Again, this is something React would do, but at least XState allows you to declaratively specify those side effects. So I guess that's a silver lining.
All right.
Right there. Yeah.
All users, add event listener input. Maybe let's change. Can you tell if the select is firing?
It
doesn't.
Let me see.
Doesn't seem to. Jim Bob. Let's go create. Can't tell if it's doing anything. So I'm firing the select, and I'm firing the e.target.value, which should be the index.
So let's console.log that and see what that is.
Object event.
So it's an event. Actually, so we need to, this gets a little bit tricky. So that should be the index.
Yeah, so LUsers.value. So that should be what we're showing. So LUsers.value, because the options I set up with the value as the index. Yep. So 0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then if we create a new one, create and select, yeah. So it's sending through the index. That is correct. Gonna go ahead.
All right, yeah, it's just not, all right, let's see. All right, so I have, oh, sorry, I'm expecting e.index, not e.value. So let me just change that right over there. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, and so when we select, we should update the fields, but it's not.
So we do have selected user happening. Select actions, so selected users. E.index. You're still, oh, it's a string. Does that matter?
Well, what is a string?
The value coming through is a string. Oh, you're turning it into a number. So that's fine.
Okay. We need TypeScript up in here. But anyway, okay, so now when you select a user, it's going to populate in the name and the surname thing.
Nice.
Yep. So now, can you hook up delete? Or, oh, it's already hooked up.
Yeah,
so
already sending through delete.
Yeah, we just have to do that annoying thing where we manually put our, so we have to update two things. We have to update users and update fields. And you know what? We might as well wrap those two functions into an update UI type of thing. So
update users and update fields. What does update fields do?
Update fields updates the name and the surname.
I see. What else needs to be hooked up then?
The filter. So right now, when you when you type in the filter, it just assigns the filter prefix.
Right. Yeah. We'll need to do that as well, but that can come in a later time. Let's get the main actions hooked up here.
All right. Sure. So now we actually have to get into finite states, because here's the thing: when you are changing the name and the surname, when you're changing the name and the surname, like two different things can happen. You could either be editing a new user or editing an existing user. So we could just, start adding these finite states, and there should only be two. So I'm just going to say new user, states, new user.
Oh, hey, that worked. I didn't even notice.
And edit user. So when we, let's do an update. So on updates, did we hook up update?
No, update. Well, no, I'm not sending through update yet.
So yeah, you could just go ahead and do that. So
update, type, update.
Target user.
All right. So
sign.
Are you creating that event, or you want me to do that here?
Yeah. Could you create it?
Okay. So all right. So right above delete, I'm doing update here. So condition, we need to make sure we have a selected user. We're going to assign name and surname, selected user to null. And
I wish I had immer. This would be easier with immer, and you can use immer with XState as well.
CTX users selected user CTX.selected user equals name CTX.name surname CTX.surname.
Also need to update the fields. Oh, we need to update the users.
Okay, update should be connected now. Let's see. Khourshid. Hey, it is. That's great.
Cool. So when we select a user, we should go to the what I call it, edit user states. And so let me just try this out real quick. So when we click a user and then press update, cool, it updates. So that's awesome. But we still have some lingering fields over there. So
well, I'm clearing that out in the update action. When you click update, it should be clearing those things out, and we have update fields. Yeah, so I don't know what that.
Well. Okay. So yeah,
There we go.
you put
Now
this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you put this update action on the outside. I'm putting it on the. Wait, just kidding. Where are we? So. Oh yeah, you see up in edit user.
Oh yeah.
I think we stepped on each other's toes. Actually, we could just copy and paste.
Can just move mine up there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move yours up there. So because yours is better than mine. So
yeah, and we probably want delete up there as well, right? Because
exactly
we can't we can't delete a user you can't select.
Yeah, you have exactly the right idea. So now we're thinking like in terms of impossible states. Like obviously, if we're just making a new user, you can't delete a new user. Like that doesn't make sense. That should be impossible. Yeah. Okay. So. Right, and yeah, so in terms of refactoring, that's all you really need to do is just copy and paste things over to there.
Okay, it doesn't, delete doesn't seem to be working anymore. Oh, there we go. It worked now.
It's working for me.
Oh, so my condition I think is off. If selected user, oops, condition selected user is greater than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to 0. Okay.
So
this should work.
Funny enough, I just found another potential bug that's fixed using finite states. So before, when you were editing the user and you typed in the name and the surname and you pressed create instead of update, it would create a new user.
Yeah.
So now I made it so that it's only valid when you're in the new user state. So
nice.
Now if you're editing a user and you press create, nothing happens by design.
Very cool.
Yeah. And
create is not working at the moment. Let's see. So I don't have a user selected, but it's not letting me create. Are you able to create?
Let me check. So I wonder how you deselect a user. I don't think you can.
Right. There is a way, like with native select, but I forget how.
Maybe we should add a cancel button. I'm wondering what the 7GUIs thing says about that.
Yeah. Good luck parsing all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Create, read, update, delete. Yeah, it's funny. There doesn't seem to be a way to that. Yeah, that's missing from the specification. There's no way to just cancel. Yeah. So I think if we just quickly, I don't know if you want to do this, but add a cancel button, then yeah. Then we could do that.
Cancel. All right. So let's see. I'll create constant cancel. Cancel. Here we go. Send through that event.
Yeah. So when we're in the edit user state and we have a cancel event, we're just going to go to the new user. Because we're like, all right, you don't want a user selected, so we're just going to have a brand new user. That's not, well, what did you name that event? All right,
cancel.
So you named it cancel. Yeah, so I do have cancel here, and it should be taking me to new user. And so I forgot. So we have to do the React thing and update user.
Where are you?
Yeah, just update user.
Ah.
Or sorry, what was it? Update fields. Making things is hard.
Oh, we probably need to. We need to sync up lusers.value.
Yeah.
Value equals ctx.selected user.
Right. So if that's null, is that going to deselect? Oh, it does. Cool.
Yeah, seems like that.
All right. So now pressing cancel works.
Yep.
Which is awesome. And then I could, let's see, I could change the name. I could delete. I deleted you, but you can't see my screen, so you don't know that. And pressing create shouldn't do anything, but if I type something in after canceling, then it creates it.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
So that's most of the functionality, and it's yeah. The only thing left really is
filtering, which
filtering
is relatively easy to do because we can do const filtered users equals ctx.user filter users.filter user. We can say return user.name.includes ctx.filter. Is that right? So just ctx.filter.
I think so. Yep. Okay. Filter.
ctx.filter or user.surname includes ctx.filter, and then we'll use this. In theory. Nope, that's not working. Are we updating on filter? Let's see. I don't think we're updating users filter. Yeah, we need that extra action. Okay, that should work. No.
Do we have disabled styles? Yeah,
yes.
We do. Hey, check it out.
Yeah,
I added validation, and this is a trick that we did the last episode, but I did it in the simplest way possible. If you go to line 173, I'm saying the create button should be disabled if you can't create anything. Mm-hmm. That's all you need to add.
Where does this can come from?
Oh, so can I made it up above. If you look in the soup aisle, you'll see the can right over here. Here, I'll move it down. So I'm just saying, and this is something that's going to be built into XState pretty soon, by the way, but we're saying if you try to transition the current state with that event, will that state change? If so, then you can do it. If you can't, then that's going to be false.
Oh, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is my filter not working, David? What's wrong with me here? Let's console.log ctx.filter. Oh, you're using filter and filter prefix, which is
filter. Sorry. You know what? Sorry about that.
Okay. Filter. Okay.
Yeah, I think the original 7GUIs called it a prefix. Yeah, it did. Okay, that's what was messing with me. Sorry. So it's a filter.
Filtered users. Console.log filtered users.
I'm looking at delete.
That's weird. Why is that not working? ctx.filter.
All right, so I found a really, really strange bug, not in XState and not in our logic. Well, yeah, sort of in our logic, but did you know that null is greater than or equal to 0?
What?
Yeah, so in delete, I noticed this because when you delete someone, it still stays enabled. And I'm like, why is that? We shouldn't be able to delete if someone's not selected.
Yeah.
But if the selected user is null, null is equal to 0, I guess. So I wish it was like a greater than or double equal to. Like, make sure it's a number first.
Yeah. Hey, it's working now. The filter. Ah, that's satisfying. That's great. So update fields. Let's make sure L filter ctx.filter. Let's make sure that matches up, and then whenever we cancel, let's clear that out. Where do we have cancel happening? It's just right there. If we do, let's see. I guess we would just do that on the top level on cancel. Let's do actions assign. We'll say filter.
Oops, cannot read property name. Oh, that's hilarious. When you have a type error, the URL is codepen.io/cp/internal/boom boom.
Yep. Don't worry about it.
That's a fun little Easter egg.
Okay. Why? So I've got our cancel event in the on action. So around line 150. Why is that not working? Assign tx to clear out the filter. That should work, right?
That should be working.
Oh, we also need to update fields.
Yeah,
that's probably it. And update users.
Yeah, the filter in the field.
Yeah.
Okay.
So type bill, cancel, and boom. Okay, that's working. That's great. So cancel, we would also want to just do name, surname, and selected user. No. Just to get that all.
Your filter is case sensitive, which is fine. I was like, is it broken? No,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I'm just using string.includes, which is a case sensitive deal. I don't know if is there a way to.
There is dot
sensitivity
to uppercase if I could spell. So basically, we're just certain dot.
Oh, jeez.
Uppercase includes context.filter dot to uppercase, and yeah, I should really yeah. I was gonna say let's try that up. Uppercase.
Yeah.
Uppercase.
Yeah. Hold on. There
Sorry.
we go.
Okay. Yeah, collaborative coding.
Yeah.
Taken to the extreme.
Upper filter. Okay, I think we've almost got it here. User.name.to uppercase is not a function.
Let's see, to uppercase. Oh, so this should be that's uppercase is camel case, which
logically
I thought uppercase was one word. That was my mistake. So and it looks like it works.
Okay. All right. So let's go through our actions here. So we've got our filter. Okay. So we can say David.
Yeah.
And okay, when we do that, when we change the filter, it does not change the selected user. We should probably do that. Actions.assign selected user null. Because if you have like Billie Jean selected and then you filter David, like we want that to update users, update.
Oh, I gotcha.
All right, so if we select Billy and select Billy, filter David, it's not quite getting it right. Go. In theory, selected Billy, we search for David, that clears it out. That's great. Billy, David, Billy, David. It still gives our update and delete states, which is strange, but that's okay. And my monitor has gone out, so I can't see you anymore, David.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah, what's happening? Yeah, that's really strange. Okay, so I think we've got it here, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm missing my other monitor, so it's not good.
Oh, oops. I broke something. Sorry, I'm just trying to make the enter button work. What did I do wrong? Oh, wow. Okay, there we go. All right, so I wrapped the entire thing in a form. So pressing enter is supposed to do something.
Form.add event.
Well, so I just don't want it to have a to do its action thing. So I guess
you would need to
what
do
am I
like
trying
a
to do?
submit event or something.
Yeah, actually, here's what we could do. This is a really easy way to, so I could just say CRUD service.send submit. And so we don't really have to do much over here. When you're on new user, then submitting should basically be doing the whole create thing, right?
Right. Is there a way to kind of alias that in the state machine?
Yes, there is. And it's not really aliasing. It's more like this is how state charts work. So if I say submit, my I could, the machine could send itself an event. So we could say actions, and let me just pull this in from, oh yeah, just kidding. We already have it. Where was I? This is a big state chart.
Yeah.
So actions, send, create, and that's all I have to do. So okay. Hopefully that works. Let's see.
So is that new user? Okay, so if we say Joe, Bob, and hit enter, yep, that works. That's
cool.
Really
and
cool.
So same thing here, but we want to send updates. So this is our way of aliasing,
right?
Where we're just saying like send myself an event to do this when that happens. Doesn't work for update.
No, it's not working. Send update. Sheet on update.
I think it's because the form is confused because the first button is disabled. So it's like,
so yeah, what we do here is type equals button for all of these.
But will pressing enter still work?
It should, yes.
It does not. So there has to be a button of some sort. Can we have a hidden button?
Yeah.
Button
type equals submit.
Hidden type equals, well, it's a button. So submit button. So let's try that. That'd be weird if that works. But it's hidden, so
it does.
It's not gonna.
It does work.
It does?
Yep. Whoa.
Does it have to be, or can
Hidden
I hide
hidden
it?
was fine, yeah.
Really? I was
Yep.
pressing enter and it was not doing the thing.
Well, it
Or
was
it's still not doing the thing for me, so.
weird. Okay, so we'll just say stat equals position absolute opacity 0.
That's one way to do it. Or visibility hidden. Yeah, I think that's gonna work.
Yeah, sometimes that can affect, like, if the browser thinks it should be there. Joe, create. Yeah, visibility hidden might be too much, but pointer. Let's see. Joe.
That is so weird. You would think that forms would work without a submit button if you press enter. So
Yeah, that might be something else going on. Joe Bob. Yeah, that's still not working. Maybe it needs to be the first one.
So I quickly searched this on Stack Overflow, and someone suggested inputs type submit style equals position absolute left negative 9,999 pixels.
Input type equals submit.
Yeah, so with a visibility hidden should work with inputs type equals submit, I think. Or actually, here, I got it. Input type equals submit, and then just hidden. This should work. According to Stack Overflow. So it does not.
Mr. Overflow's been wrong before.
It has, yeah. That's really weird.
Yeah, I've not run into that before. Like, I haven't had a problem with that, but we've got so many buttons, I don't know.
I have it 0.1, just like sort of invisible, but not really invisible. Well, yeah.
It's doing something. I don't know what, though.
It is. I just don't know if it's doing what we want it to do.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's just a nice to have, you know. We can nix that for now.
Yeah. I'm still having trouble with my monitor, so I can't see anything else that's going on. But yeah, I think we can wrap this here because we've got our filter. So if I type Bill. Wait.
Does the filter work?
It's not working right now. Why not? Bill. Nope. All right. I adjusted these from.
What happened with the filter?
It's a good question. Good question. Bill. Okay, it's working now. Bill. Okay. Joe Bob. Create. Okay. All right. Yeah, that works. And then we can update. Delete. That's beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I think we've fulfilled all the requirements here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And validation is working. I just quickly added validation for when you're updating someone's name, you don't wipe out their entire name. It won't let you. Yeah, if you try to do that. So cool. Yeah, this was a way bigger state chart than anticipated, but you know. I mean, it's like all the logic is condensed in the state chart. So it's not like we're doing anything more than we would be doing, just straight up coding it without a state chart.
Yeah, things would be a bit cleaner in React, or just you know some kind of system for controlling the DOM a little bit better. But overall, like the same kind of principle is going to apply. We would store all of our state here in the machine context. So we've got a list of users. Just kind of summarizing everything up here as far as I understand it. So we've got our users, we've got the current value for name and surname, we've got a selected user value and a filter value. Initially, we're on the new user state so that we can type in Joe Bob and then send a create event, which is going to create that user on the condition that we can actually create that. Or on the condition that we actually have values for that. So then we assign, we're appending that to the users, concatenating that to the users and clearing out the name values and syncing the UI. Yeah, and then the edit user state, we're listening for an update event. And that if we type something in, so if we have a selected user value and a surname value, we can update that. Same kind of a principle, we're assigning those values and just updating that one particular user in the context. And then whenever we trigger that update event, we're targeting the new user event, so it goes back to kind of our default state there. If we have a selected user and we send through the delete event, then we're going to transition to the new user on the condition that we actually have a selected user, and yeah, we're removing that entry from the users array.
Yeah. By the way, I removed that because that's happening in the entry action of new user. So we're saying every time we go to a new user, clear out those fields.
Yeah, so we can remove that from update user as well. That's helpful. Right, so if we do that, yep, that works. That's great. To new user. All right, if we cancel, if we're editing a user and we click cancel, that's going to transition us to the new user state, which is going to deselect that as well. And yeah, overall, on the name change event, it's assigning that value for name and surname to our context. The cancel button is
duplicated. So we don't need it here.
Okay, is that still going to work if we cancel? Okay, we might need clearing out the filter for that because cancel is currently disabled to clear out the filter, but that's not a big deal. And then when you update the filter, it's gonna assign that value and clear out the selected user name and surname. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So overall, this is pretty traceable, and if we copied this into the new stately visualizer, that's going to work, right?
Yeah. Here, I'll do real quick.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to receive the link if you send it through.
Yeah, no worries. We could just have it after the show or something, just because there's a lot of specific stuff in here that when we copy it over to the visualizer, it's going to be like, what is that? I don't know what elements are and things like that. So yeah.
All right. Well, my monitor is still not working for some reason, so there's not a super graceful way to end this. But will you do our outro at least, David?
Sure thing. All right. So you can watch the full process of us creating this GUI from the 7 GUIs for a deeper dive into each of the state chart and state machine techniques that we did on the full live stream links right below. Leave us a comment if you have any questions.
Yes, and this show is supported by our sponsors, CodePen at codepen.io, CSS Tricks at css-tricks.com, and Stately at stately.ai, which just had a nice, cool release that you should check out. And viewers like you can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers to support our show, and you can also subscribe to our channel for lots of great content. So yeah, that's all for today. Get ready for a super graceful instant cutoff, and yeah, adios, amigos.
Adios.